recognized.
Thank you. I appreciate all of you coming on out and talking with us. Director Kelly, I think I'd like to start with you. I think all of us here recognize we want to have a comprehensive approach to this. That includes some of these efforts go after the cartels on immigration. But there was also a statistic that I come across, and I guess I just wanted to ask you if this was correct. I saw a statistic that came across saying that U.S. citizens made up 80% of individuals with fentanyl seized at ports of entry. And I wanted to just ask you, does that sound correct to you, roughly?
I would certainly defer to our partners at DHS, which would be the source of that statistic, but yes, it sounds generally correct.
I guess I wanted to ask, and to whatever extent, Mr. Miller, you want to jump in as well, but do we have an understanding of who these Americans are, in terms of affiliation with, criminal operations or other things of that nature? Mr. Miller, I want to just check with you if you have thoughts here.
Yeah, thank you, Senator. So I would definitely say that the cartels are running all the narcotics operations on the southwest border, and then they'll utilize anyone that they.
So they're recruiting Americans to help this get across the border. Is that what you believe is happening?
I have no doubt of that, Senator.
Okay, I'm just thinking through this in terms of just what are the different ways we can sort of disrupt this operation and kind of engage and understand how that recruitment might be occurring, other types of ways in which we can engage. Director Kelly, you talked about the leading edge tech that is component of that, and you also mentioned a number of other aspects that are important when it comes to interdiction. But on the leading edge tech, I guess I wanted to just ask you, as I'm trying to explain to the people in New Jersey, what way we should be putting our priorities. I've certainly heard a lot about scanning technologies, but what are the other types of technology that is proven to be best practices, and where are we at in terms of scaling that to the level that we would need?
Thank you so much, Senator Ken, for the question. I think we have two dimensions that we have to consider in responding to that. Part of it is developing the technology, and the other part is making sure that it can be deployed to all of the partners that we need. We recognize that we are relying in large part here on the work of our 18,000 sheriff's office and police departments across the country. And so for them, this bleeding edge tech, even if we have it, it may never be within reach. So we have to be thinking about what makes sense in terms of broad scale investment, and then how much of that can be actually in the hands of state and local officers. So on the first point, I think I would defer to our experts here from the actual border, from CBP, who I know leads a lot of the technological development for the southwest border and also for the maritime space. What I think we might want to be thinking about when we're talking about state and local deployment, though, may be a sort of second generation technology, where we're thinking about handheld scanners. We're thinking about ensuring that they are trained so that they can properly question drivers in roadside stops, so that they're not taking the personal risk, if you're thinking about state patrol officers, about pulling over a tractor trailer with a hidden compartment and thinking about delaying the schedule of commerce in the United States. So I think it's a broad range depending on whether you're talking about the federal investment directly or whether we're talking about something that's deployable to state and locals. And
I appreciated earlier that you also just raised the importance of just ensuring that we have enough canine investment as well. So, I think so often here in Congress we get caught up on just the tech, but remembering that it's the manpower as well as some of these other types of tools. Mr. Miller, I just wanted to turn it over to you if you have anything further here. Just help us understand, where should we be when it comes to this leading edge tech, and where do you think we're at right now? I want to just understand your understanding of the delta.
Yeah, thank you, Senator. As Assistant Director mentioned, at the ports of entry, technology is vital for sure. I would say in between the ports of entry, I think any kind of technology that assists in domain awareness is critical, whether that's our use of radars, aerostats, cameras, our use of artificial intelligence or machine learning. Another critical gap that CBP has that we're working through and trying to catch up with is the counter UAS threat. So, That is a threat along the border that's a threat to our agents, whether it's surveillance of our operations from the south side of the border, flying contraband in small loads across the border. We've seen what the cartels do to each other using small drones, dropping explosives, and then, of course, with AMO, collision of risk with aircraft. So, legacy customs radars along the border were historically meant to detect general aviation aircraft and ultralights, and not meter or less size targets operating extremely low or slow. So we're catching up with that technology, deploying tools that can detect and mitigate this new emerging threat.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.